Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Lunar Counseling Podcast. I'm your host, Kiara Brown, a licensed professional counselor, EMDR certified therapist, certified hypnotherapist, and the owner of Lunar Counseling. This podcast is a space for grounded, real conversations with therapists, healers, and guides about the deeper layers of mental health, trauma, embodiment, and what it truly means to come home to yourself. Today, I'm honored to welcome Kristen Sabo to the podcast. Kristen is a licensed clinical mental health counselor and the founder of Merkaba Sacred Healing Counseling. Her work bridges trauma-informed psychotherapy with somatic and mystical practices, supporting clients in deep embodied healing that integrates mind, body, and spirit. Kristen is currently developing the Atrium Somatic Resonance Method, an integrative framework that weaves together parts work, nervous system regulation, hypnosis, and spiritual insight. Her approach is rooted in the belief that healing isn't about fixing what is broken, but about remembering what has always been whole. She carries a deep conviction that we are everything and nothing less, and that healing is a process of returning to that truth within ourselves. Through clinical training and spiritual lenses, Christine creates space where trauma resolution meets embodied awareness and sacred remembrance. And so excited for Kristen to be here and for us to dive into that. So welcome, Kristen. Thank you. I appreciate you
Hello.
being here.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am good. Like I said, always a little nervous, like being on podcast, but we're here.
Yes. This is gonna be super painless. So, question I ask everyone is, what brought you into the therapy world?
So I honestly think that this has been just in my bones. So growing up, I was definitely the wallflower, but then also the kid that would always sit and everyone would talk to. I honestly think that's probably like a prerequisite for us as therapists. I think I hear that like all the time with like my fellow colleagues, like,
Yeah.
yeah, we were kind of like born into that role. And I definitely was like a sensitive kid. So if we talk about astrology at all today, like my Pisces moon really, I think, is what like delved me into like pursuing this. And honestly, like I didn't think I would be a therapist. I honestly thought that I would be an English teacher and like do creative writing. And then I started my undergrad as a business major and was super bored. And then I switched to English and then I double majored in English and psychology. And I finally made it to here where I am today.
So you had some like zigzags along the way, getting you here. I mean, at least like business part, you kind of like know more about starting your own business, running your own business than most of us do. Like at the start.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I always wanted to like run my own business just because my dad has his own business. And I think that's also like as an ADHDer, and I was an undiagnosed ADHDer growing up. And so I like working for people. I did my best, but I was always like rebellious. And I have like, oh my gosh, I have some horror stories from the first like agency I worked in when I first started in community mental health, which is like the rite of passage, I think, for all of us therapists. And so it's like I have horror stories with that one. But it was that where I knew I was like, I can't work for anybody. So yeah. So I think that coming into like private practice was absolutely the best choice possible. And now I truly believe like, yeah, this is the role. Like this is what I was meant to do ever since like I was young.
Yeah, I fully agree. And I also agree that community mental health is definitely where we make our bones, right? Like if you don't do that, like you have no idea what's going on in the field. I feel
No, 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 no.
like I've heard so many like people where they will leave graduate school and go straight into private practice or like a group practice, which is, I mean, no shade to that, but also it's like you don't know anything. You're a baby. And like
Mm-hmm.
you need to learn. You have to
Yeah.
actually get in there and like get in with the muck before you can actually go out there.
Yeah, no, I 100%, I will find myself even if like, cause I'll like, I write a blog and I have my own podcast too that I have not brought guests on. I just like literally just talk into the whispers of the wind. But that's something that like I'll put in there. I'll be like, I always am like putting it out there in energy to all of my beginning clients when I was just a baby therapist. And I'm always like, I'm sorry, I didn't know what I didn't know then.
Yeah, it's true. Like you don't know what you don't know until you're like you're in it.
Yep.
But I do want to go back to you mentioned the astrology. I know like you blend a lot of spirituality stuff into your work. Can you tell me a little bit about like
Yes.
your spiritual journey?
Yeah, so I grew up not religious. So my mom grew up Catholic and she has like nightmares from that. So she wanted me to find my spiritual practice on my own. Like she wanted me to find God however I found God. And she is also, I would call her like a little green thumb, like white witch. She is like she is a master gardener and she very much honors that. So I grew up watching and learning from that aspect. And I was just, gosh, I've always been drawn to the esoteric. And I am like a little spirituality, religion, theology nerd. So I love reading about different religions. And in fact, like when I did my yoga teacher training, this was back in 2014, the Hindu practice. Oh my gosh, like it was beautiful. And it like that, I think learning about Hindu practices honestly made it so much easier and more accepting for me to want to also learn about Christianity and like see that side of spirituality as well. So I just again like I think that I have been swept in the ways of spirituality since I was like I I wrote my college essay like for undergrad about my imaginary friend and that whole piece and yeah, I would have to say that I've just been a little spiritual sprite for a long time.
Nice. So yeah, that's really interesting too. So I minored in religion in undergrad. So we like learned about like the big fives and how the commonalities are between all of them. And
So
like
cool.
it is just like learning about them all is just so amazing and just like it honestly like solidifies my fact that like there's no right or wrong religion in my
Mhm.
head. It's really like what call it like draws you to you the most.
Mhm.
And lately I've been on my own spiritual journey, like going more the esoteric realm myself. And it's just been
Yeah.
more I think to me more freeing in that way. And I've been learning more about like my sun and my moon signs. So I'm a Cancer sun and an Aries moon.
Ooh, fiery and water. Like it's like what?
Yeah. I do have Pisces in my chart too. It's like it's a crazy thing. So you said you have a Pisces moon sign. What's your sun sign?
So my big three is I'm a sun in Libra, my moon is Pisces, and my rising is Sagittarius. But I do think it's important to recognize other things. So like with communication, so our Mars, I am a hold on, it's coming. Mars is in because Venus is in Scorpio. Yeah, Mars is in Aquarius. So that when I with Aquarius, like my mom's an Aquarius. So Aquariuses are so aloof and they like have just this like wild level of thinking and speaking where I'm like, that's where my ADHD lies on my astrology chart right there. So yeah, so those are my big signs. But I always like to include Mars because it's like all about communication. Or
Yeah.
no, Mercury is. Mars is action. Sorry. But that's where yeah. Blah. Mars and Mercury. I flipped them. Sorry. Sorry, everybody.
It's okay. I you know a lot more than I do. I'm still learning about all the signs. I've been actually doing more like human design, delving deep into like
Oh,
that realm of
yeah.
things. Because I think it is just like so cool. And I love pulling it in with my clients. Have you ever done anything with human design?
Such a noob, but I do know that I'm a generator.
Nice. Do you know your authority?
Oh, yes, I do. I would have to look it like up on my phone. I can't like pull it from memory, but I do know that I'm a generator and I know that my husband's a generator And I know that my daughter is a manifesting generator. I know all those things. And then let's see. Okay. So Christine Free, that's me. Oh gosh. About profile type generator. Looks like authority is sacral.
Oh, cool. Nice. So
Yeah.
you listen to your gut instincts.
Well, I tell myself to do that for sure. Yeah.
So you're supposed to listen to your gut instincts. In practice, it's usually harder because
Yeah.
the world is so logical based, which works for me because I'm a mental projector. And
Okay.
I'm always in my head. I mean, it works in some ways. In other ways, it's like, okay, get out of your head a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this app says profile. And so what I don't know what any of this means. I just know it says profile investigator dash martyr 1-3 type generator strategy to respond authority sacral incarnation cross is the right angle cross of Maya 3. That's what I got.
Okay. So, oh my gosh, the 1-3s, the one is like the inquisitive person, and we have to like investigate a lot, and you have to like really get into the thick of it to really learn about it.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. My husband hates that.
Yes, like you want to know all the things all at once. So like that's probably why
Yes.
you went to like the spiritual nerd piece of it. And threes, oh my god, threes. Threes are really cool. Threes and sixes are really cool because for you, like it's like you have to be. It's like you're in the muck. You have to experience things. You have to like really be in life, living it to
Mm-hmm.
learn your lessons. So you're
Yeah,
basically
hands on.
studying and like your hands on. And whenever your Saturn return comes, like you get to like a new phase of life, and like you're like your experiences are like just really cool, and it's like it helps transform things. If you were a six, so like sixes are interesting because they act like threes the first 30 years of their life, and then once they hit their Saturn return and around their 30 mark, then they become like probably like the wise woman or wise man in the community, and then
Yeah.
the second return in their 60s, it's more like the outer matriarch, patriarch person that then like goes it down. It's like those are really cool.
Yeah. Like hearing that, I instantly think of like numerology stuff. Don't ask me to quote anything, but I visually see numerology and like all the different like phases of like your turnarounds and stuff like that. But I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like I can track that.
Yeah, and like it's really cool. And so and also too with your numbers. So the first number is your conscious side. So it's what you see in yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the second one is the unconscious number, your unconscious part of you that other people see in you. So you don't always see it. So like everyone else will see you as like the person has to be in the thick of it, in the muck. And then the one is like where you resonate with like, yeah, this is me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so that makes sense. So like your second number is like your rising sign in astrology, right? Like how the world views you is essentially your rising sign, which that
Yeah.
could completely be like I know that if like our astrology is are listening to me, they're like, oh Christine, like you're missing so many things. So I'm disclaimering now, yes, I love astrology, yes, I know the things, but I am not an expert.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in human design. I am still very much a baby human design newbie. I've been learning all the things myself. I was still a self-taught. So like
Hmm.
anything wrong. Also, full disclosure there too. I'm still a baby human design person.
That's okay. I love it. I love when we're the learning path is probably one of my most favorite paths. I'm just gonna be a lifelong student forever.
And I think it's how it works though with this field at least, because like we have to be constantly learning. Like we can't not learn. And if
Hmm.
we're only if we're dead or we're retired. And even then, I feel like
Right.
we still be learning things.
Yeah. Well, we'll go off into ether and learn something there.
Yeah, and it's cool too. And I also love like how it's becoming a little bit more accepting of people like pulling in the more esoteric, intuitive practices now. Because like people are like, oh, it doesn't have to be all CBT, all like
Hmm.
quantifiable, and like which also always drives me nuts. Like you can't. quantify the human lived experience.
No, you can't. And to do that, and then to also kind of like shove individuals into like boxes and categories and assumptions, like that invalidates the human experience in and of it. Whoa, there goes my rock. My inexperience invalidates the human experience in and of itself. And like that, then that makes it so that there's years worth of like trying to work on yourself while also then forcing yourself to do it in like this is the way you must do it. Like, this is the only ethical standard. And it's like, wait a minute, time out. When were we taught that getting in touch with yourself, and even if it was a spiritual kind of lens or a deeper, like outside of the box lens, when did that become not reputable? And really, like, when did that become unethical? Like, that's what I would like to know. Like, why it is unethical to incorporate modalities and things that allow an individual to really get it into the muck. There's that word, the muck of themselves.
Yeah, I would like to know that too. But also, because also, like, as I was like doing my hypnotherapy certification, the founding fathers of psychology were doing the things. Like Carl
Yeah.
Jung was using freaking tarot, and like
This is
it's like okay, and then it's like well, tarot is so like taboo and like witchcraft. I'm like, no, it's not. Like
it's not an action. And in the and you will probably be able to like quote this better than me, but like in the Bible, like tarot isn't even mentioned in the Bible. Like from what my understanding is, the Bible says that like it's sorcerers that like you are not to be a sorcerer kind of thing. And that actually makes sense. Puppy dog, no barking. That also makes sense because in shamanic practices, they also too say like no, like sorcerers are they're not out for the highest good. So it's like that had so I don't know where sorcerers and tarot decided to like interlock with talking, but that's just not the case. Tarot is a tool.
yeah, I fully agree. And like you're right, it doesn't say anything about tarot, but I think because it's so for a lot of people, it's so like unknowable that they
Mm-hmm.
lumped it all in the same thing. Like so sorcerers, witchcraft, tarot, oracle cards, all the things, crystals, even Reiki, all got put into one little thing of like witchcraft and bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, first off, God, if you believe in Christianity, God made the earth, so God made crystals. So he imbued all crystals with their things.
Yep. Yep.
And so like
And
they're not
also,
yeah.
go
Go ahead.
ahead. Sorry.
That's what they say, like, so they're not witchcraft. It's literally just science.
Right. And then even if you want to like get into energy practices like Reiki, and again, I am no like I can't like quote things like verbatim, but I do know that in the spiritual text of the Bible, it does talk about how Jesus went and he was with like monks and studied, and there's like this whole period of time where we like don't see him. And with holy fire Reiki, it is believed that that energy actually is a frequency with Jesus in regards to like this is something that he actually like brought into practice too. So it's like everything is interconnected. It's almost like one of my yoga teacher trainer, she's one of the best people in my whole world. She says, I'm going to quote her. She says, same story, different text.
Yes, 100%. That's
Yep.
literally true. And like, especially talking about the big three, like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they're
Mhm.
literally siblings.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say that there's no correlation and like nothing common. Like, come on, people.
Yeah. Same story, different texts.
Yeah. And I've like every religion that I've ever studied and heard about has a flood story, has a creation story, has stories about the good versus evil, like being the good person, helping everyone out. Like
Mm-hmm.
basically, as long as
Yeah.
you're a good person, you help everyone out, and you're not a greedy person, things are going pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And as we're talking about this, I'm like noticing body responses where I'm like, oh wow, like I'm like holding some anxiety around that. Am I like talking bad? Like, am I being like there's like this judgment feeling of like, and then that makes me think, whoa, time out. Where did my body learn that? Because even in my own present life, if I were to like, 2 seconds or left, think about my life, I was never judged growing up, like me personally. But then that gets me thinking about like, but like I hold in like in our DNA and like that mitochondria, it's just like it holds everything from that ancestral stuff. It's like, oh wow, like the ancestral like DNA is like vibrating, being like, should we be talking about this? And I'm just like, yeah, we should.
Yeah. And like the past life stuff is so true. Like I'm certified in past life regression as
Hmm.
well. And even though now like on my own personal past lives, I like the amount of things that have happened and that are still stored within you. It's just crazy.
If you're not familiar with it, it's called, I have to pull up, it's like emotion codes. The emotion codes, I think it is. I'll have to like check my blog because I wrote about it like years ago. But there's the emotion codes. And, while I'm like talking about it, I will pull it up. It's this whole system where it's an intuitive practice and they lead you down to figure out like what the body's holding and whatnot. And I did one back in like 2023, and it turned out, yeah, breaking curses, cleansing codes. Yeah. So it was with this woman, her name was Carol Cleary, and this is out in New Hampshire. It's called body coding. There we go. Body coding. And it turns out that I was able to uncover this generational curse that I was holding on to. And that because of that, allowed like other negative frequencies or entities, whatever, whatever word resonates to me, that was causing so many limited self-beliefs and blocks in my life. So so emotion and body coding is a really interesting practice that very much aligns with past life regression work, but it's just done a little differently. And she like did it with like this weird thing where she would trust her intuitive and like pinch her fingers and whatnot. So when you say that, instantly was like, oh yeah, that reminds me of that. And like finding out how to like just connect with the past lives or however, within the structure of that like DNA and generational stuff. I'm rambling.
No, it's so cool. I've never heard of that, but yeah, that makes total sense because you're right. Like it's stored within us. Like everything repeats. And it's like kind of like why I feel like reincarnation is like a legit thing. Because like I had like evidence of like my own past lives and everyone else's. I mean, people believe what they
Hmm.
believe, but
Yeah.
I just
I mean, you can't destroy energy. We gotta go somewhere.
yes, 100%. It's like one of the main laws of physics, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which one, but it's one of them.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you did yoga training thing. So do you
Hmm.
use like yoga in your daily life and in your practice?
Yes. So I definitely incorporate the yogic practice in my life. I teach every other month for up here in New Hampshire for first responders and veterans to as like a free way. So I do actively still teach. And then I then also when I remember and when my life is like so like taciturn and wild and out of place right now. So like remembering to do like these like strategic practices plus like unmedicated ADHD, like I'm all over the place. So I do try to breathe every day and like connect with that like yogic breath. So that is always a goal. And I do have clients do like some yoga poses for like release work depending on like what they're holding in their body, what I notice, like, and how they present themselves when they like come to session. So I do incorporate it actually more so in my practice than I do in my daily life. So I would say yes. Yes, I do.
Awesome. Can you talk a little bit about how that training came about? Like what drew you to the yoga practice?
Hmm. Yeah. So I started going to like yoga class when I was in high school, and I had this English teacher, phenomenal. She actually is a devout yogi, and I'll never one of my favorite life memories of her when she was sharing with me and like a group of other people about her wanting to continue and like going further with her yoga training, she was like, yeah, so when I was deciding to go for my like 500-hour yoga training, I asked my kiddos if it was okay because it was in Guatemala, and her daughter, who was like a toddler at the time, she's like, I'll sleep on it, mama. And then like the next morning, her daughter was like, I thought about it, mama, you can go to Guacamole and do your yoga training. Like you can go to Guacamole. And so that is one of my favorite memories because it has always made me be like, yoga is good for you because guacamole is good for you. And so then I started going to yoga all the time. And then I had a tumultuous breakup with my college boyfriend. Tumultuous in the sense of like there were 3 big statements made to me that absolutely just like, you ready? This is gonna be a therapist. You're gonna hear the statements and your inner therapist is gonna be like, ooh. I was told, I feel like I settled dating you and that there's something else out there for me. Which, you know what, in hindsight, like, cool. I'm glad that you knew what you wanted. Like, way to go, Taurus. Never dated a Taurus after that. And wonderful, but let me tell you, that obviously kickstarted the you're not enough, you've never been enough thought process in my mind. And so I found yoga and I started like moving through that. And so that's also where the somatic piece came in for me because I was in my master's program. I started my master's program in clinical counseling. So yoga helped me want to continue the counseling practice, but that's I think where the seed was planted for how somatic practices are so important to integrate in. So yoga saved me there. And then there was another time in my life. So then I, fast forward a little bit later on, I met my first husband and I ended up doing my yoga training in North Carolina after moving down there with him. And again, I said the word first husband, so that implies that there's a second. So that means he's my ex. And I'm going to say that we have no animosity. I absolutely adore my ex-husband for everything he brought in my life. Was there a lot of issues and like there a little T traumas and such in there? Absolutely. But overall, really just thankful that he was part of my path. But during that time of some issues there, ended up doing my yoga teacher training, and that again saved me mentally, physically while I was going through the training and like actively practicing yoga while going through like these insane marital things, and yoga saved me there. And then fast forward a little bit more, we moved to Georgia, and that's kind of where the demise of our marriage went. And I got a job teaching yoga while I was finishing up my master's program, and I got a job teaching yoga. Yoga saved me again because I was in such a dark place, and I made myself go to yoga. I made myself move this stuff out of me. It was even then down in Georgia, because it's very prominent, like a Bible Belt area. And I met this woman, and she grew up in a very strict Christian household, and she was teaching yoga, and she very faith-based, and she said, and I won't ever forget it, and I love this, she said, I could not understand why people were telling me that yoga is evil and satanic, because she had like a chronic physical disability, so she was always in pain. And she was like, because when I do yoga and I move my body and move into these positions, the pain goes away, and then I'm able to like meditate and God talks to me. And she said, through prayer, I talk to God. And I do that also while I'm in my movement with yoga. And then when I'm able to relax my body, listen and meditate, God talks to me. And so yoga has proven time and time again in my life that it's a godsend, and it has saved me so much through life. So I think that's my yoga story in a nutshell.
That is phenomenal. And like I am so glad that it was there to help you like through all of those like relationship endings and the new ones beginning. Like it's crazy. So like, I'm also imagining like whenever your current husband or like your other partner came into the play, that yoga helped, like, like
Oh,
that
let
person
me
was the right
interrupt you
one.
real quick.
Sorry.
Let me interrupt you real quick. How I met my husband, my now husband, who is like my best friend and like my person, my like he's my dude. I met him through yoga because I was teaching yoga and he came to my yoga class and he's like, I like this yoga teacher. And he'll tell everybody, he's like, it's because I want to do yoga because of the cute yoga teacher. Like that's our story. So yoga has literally like been a just it's been pinnacle in every part of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I can only imagine, like, if you see like your clients actually like doing yoga as a legit practice, like how like you've used it, the amount of transformation that you've seen in them too has probably been insane.
Yeah, no, you can see a difference just in like how they enter the office. And if I'm like, okay, I think we're holding tension here. Like, let's roll the shoulders back. Let's like open up the chest, like, and allow yourself to be vulnerable for a second here, like in this safe space. And we do that, it actually can crack open and allow us to do even deeper subconscious work, or even like sometimes that's just enough for the parts to come forward on the surface and start talking. And then they'll leave walking with their shoulders away from their ears and just a little better. Just those like micro movements. And then also incorporating breath awareness and like different breathing exercises is also super cool to watch.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool. But I've been meaning to ask. So what's the crystal that you're fiddling with? Or crystal?
So I have two. So this is my prophecy stone. And so this one just helps to like divine wisdom. And it's honestly, this is like an alien rock. So that's like, it's like, and then this is my ADHD rock. It's a lepidolite. And it helps me not go off onto too crazy of like a tangent. Cause like I said, I'm an unmedicated ADHDer and I will ping off of different topics all over the place.
That's so cool. I have a selenite bracelet that I wear all the time for like constant like self cleansing, because with
Hmm.
being a projector, like have open gates below my throat, so I literally am a sponge for everyone's energy, and
Yeah.
I can like cleanse it out constantly.
Yeah. You gotta get like a little talisman. So when I do therapy, I have this necklace and this is a talisman. So I have this little guy and the little guy with that one, it's the symbol for, it's a Scottish symbol for the Pictish merman, and I'm Scottish.
Oh,
So
cool. So am
it
I.
kind of like is like a protector. And then this one, which is, I mean, it just looks like a silver disc, but this one is the Mercury sign. And I got this from a client back in 2020 before I was moving back to North Carolina. And she gave it to me and she said, you know, this will help you like channel your communication because like this is the right path for you and I want you to have this. So I wear this one with so much love and also as like my talisman. So this is my therapist necklace that I wear when at work and in therapy.
That's so cool. So, are you currently in New Hampshire or North Carolina? Because you said,
I'm in New Hampshire. I'm licensed in North Carolina and Florida and New Hampshire. Grew up, born and raised here in New Hampshire. And then like I said, so my college boyfriend that I broke up with, I then met my ex-husband in Connecticut, and he was going to North Carolina to do trade program for special forces. And whirlwind, got married, moved to North Carolina, and I was like delved into like the special operations, military life world. And I stayed down in North Carolina and Georgia and in that community until my now husband and I moved in 2022 back home to New Hampshire when I was pregnant. And I was like, well, you want to get out of the military? We're having a kiddo. We're going to go like build a compound in my family's land. So let's go.
that's amazing. Yeah, my husband is in the army, and he's talked about doing special forces. I'm like, no, like, I refuse. I refuse to allow him to do it. Even though,
Yeah,
like,
they leave a lot. It's a whole other culture down there for that. Yeah.
yeah, because like he would have been gone. Like, had to be anywhere in the world in like 36 hours or some craziness. thing like that. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, that, and I personally don't want to live in the South. No shade to anyone that lives in the South. I don't like the heat. I like being in Pennsylvania, where it's like we have all the season.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. I
That's super
understand.
hot.
Totally get that. Yeah, no. And the beautiful thing about like the military and the military culture is that it's so there's all like different subcultures of it too. So
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely its own beast. Like whenever with my
Mhm.
husband and his army friends, it's like okay, but to like know that they have the dark humor for a reason, as
Yep.
and it's like a protective thing. I totally understand. Just bothers me so much sometimes. It's like okay,
Yeah, you got to put on that hat where you're like, okay, this is their culture. Yeah.
yeah. So you say your current husband was also in the military as well?
Yep. He was in the Air Force side. He was in the Special Operations Unit in for Air Force. So he was in that for like 10 years, and then he was just like he was just like feeling like he was ready. And I actually told him, I was like, why don't you on fire station? Like he's got ADHD too. He's an adrenaline junkie as well. So I kind of like pushed him to go like volunteer. This was in North Carolina still. So to volunteer at the like at the local fire station, and he fell in love with it. So he did the whole program, and now he's like finishing up his paramedic school because he's brilliant, and so he really like that's his wheelhouse. So yeah, so he's on that end of like the healing spectrum and helping provider spectrum, and I'm over here. Let me help nurture the mind and the psyche.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you talk a little bit about the new framework that you're developing?
Oh, yeah. So I have been working on a new therapy modality for a long time. And it's the Atrium Somatic. Oh gosh, I'm stage fright. So it's ASRM, and it's this method where I have woven parts work from like IFS, the somatic bilateral stimulation in regards to EMDR. There's like shamanic type foundation pillars within this, and it's really about looking at the center of our psyche as an atrium. And so atrium is like another form of like sanctuary. So in the core of our being, which is like the true self, or in-depth psychology, they call it the Godhead. It's unmarred, right? And in IFS, they talk about that too. You have the unmarred self. So you have the atrium in the center of your being. And that atrium is literally a place where you can go to and just like find peace. And it's like the eye of the storm of a hurricane. When I first started being a therapist, that was like the analogy I always use, that we're all hurricanes, that we can drop into the eye of our storm where it's beautiful and peaceful and then get swept up into our winds. So that's where this atrium piece comes in. And I also have kind of, and I this came about when I had my daughter, and I've been like just watching her grow, and that she is my greatest teacher. Like I have learned to be a better human exponentially since becoming a mom. Like that makes me teary. Like she is amazing. And it made me think, like, we always talk about like, oh, I've got to heal my inner child. And in watching Alice, I very much am just like, no, our inner child is whole. Like our inner child is actually what probably will heal us if we like nurture the connections back to the inner child and allow the inner child to actually speak to us. And the way the subconscious and inner child like speak to us is through symbols and messages. Like it's not logical, it's not like intellectual, it's all feeling and symbolic. So in this modality, it's about locating echo. So you have the center, which is the atrium and where your inner child resides, safe, unmarred. And then there's 10 rings outside of the atrium, and those 10 rings represent decades. So like 0 to 10, 11 to 19, so on and so forth. And on each ring, are echo markers. And those echo markers are what EMDR would call keystone moments. So you have these echo markers that are like creating dissonance. And I always visualize them as they're like these like very alert, very like red color, and they're like going really fast, and they're causing this like dissonance frequency that like ripples out through the decade rings, which then cause like the different stuff we see in therapy, why we go to therapy and work on stuff. And each of those rings, each of those echo markers are on each of those rings. And so then when we go back and we do that through different somatic healing work, hypnosis, but we locate the echo markers on the various rings, and you don't have to like do it linearly. It's literally wherever you go, you locate this echo marker, and we essentially reprogram it. So we go to that moment in memory, and it can either be within this lifetime or another. And because I've found that like even in each of our years, there's so many parallels,
Mhm.
and so they can stack up on each other. But again, that's me going off on a tangent. So then you go in and you work on those echo markers, and you shift and reprogram the frequency. And so it stops being a dissonant, and it's more like a nice resonance that like goes, and you can watch how it goes from this like alert, like really just like aggressive red to a different color. And I have clients that are my case studies, and they'll tell me like, oh yeah, I'm seeing more of a purple, or it feels more like a green now. And it's not so, and then and in doing that, we kind of anchor in and let those new echo markers like reverberate out, and they'll touch the other echo markers, and it might actually help reprogram those other echo markers, or it might allow us to see like, oh, we got to go over here next, or it might make it so that way it just softens those other echo markers, and we just kind of do that. And then like nurturing those echo markers, what that does is it creates a new connection back to the atrium, and that creates the bridge for the inner child to come and speak to us, and for us to then kind of work even more into that higher self in a more creative way, and like return back to like that kind of innocence in a very wisdom-based way. So that's how I would describe what I'm working on.
That sounds freaking amazing.
Thank you.
But so whenever you have everything finished, you guys ready to put it out there, sign me up for your first class. Stop it there. That sounds so cool.
Thank you.
And yeah, that just sounds amazing. And I love like how like you're combining everything, because like honestly, I feel like those of us that are trained in like hypnotherapy and EMDR and all the things, we do end up pulling the things in, but it's not like we don't have a term for it. So I love that you like create a term for it. You actually have like there's like process for it. And
It's like a new framework of like just bringing everything that we do. I'm not creating a wheel. I'm just creating a new way for us to meet ourselves. And like that, I think that's so fun.
Yeah, it's so cool. So I don't know the process of like creating like a new framework. Do you have to like go to like the APA, have it be like a
I think
thing?
so. Yeah, I think that the legal part of it, that will be my next step. Right now, I'm just like honestly, what I'm doing is I'm creating like the forms and then like the book of it. So then that way when I can pitch it to like the legal and the powers that be to be like, hey, this is cool, let me do this, I'll be ready. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm in that limbo phase of like finishing up the formalness of putting it all together, and then seeing what quotation marks higher ups are gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, everything has to be legal. That's like so cool. Like so you have like like a kind of like a workbook for
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah. So
exciting.
I'm excited about it. I did like to I did like so I made another workbook on like PMDD, nervous system repair and trauma, because I have PMDD, like the premenstrual dysphoria disorder. So, and that like that used to rock my world until like I worked on it. But I created a workbook with that, and that was my soft like this is what it could look like when you do your modality here. And so I have an idea of like how I need to go about it, but it's still really hard. Like doing all the little mechanics all by yourself, it's so hard. So hard.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sugarcoat that one.
And it's really not. Like, I haven't created a workbook, but I've created journals. And even that, like doing it by yourself, it's like, okay, because you have to put like some cycle ed into the journal and like practical prompts and like
You
final
said you made
things.
one. Did you self-publish it?
So they're not published. They're just, I know. I haven't,
You gotta self-publish. You gotta do it.
I know, they're all created. I have 5 of them created. And it's, I have one for couples, one for like a spiritual reawakening, one for like a reconnection within yourself, one that helps you like pair with crystals, so like it's kind of like a crystal healing one.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
another one that I'm working on currently is Get Up to Your Inner Dragon. Because this year I'm going to be doing oracle readings based on the 5 elements, and it's
Yeah.
pulling the moon, dragons, and the cut the trees into it. And I'm going to create a companion journal for those.
So if I can give you any like learn from me mistakes, do it, but buy your own ISPNs. So if you do end up like wanting to self-publish and put it on Amazon, buy your own ISPNs and don't do the free ISPNs with Amazon. Get your own ISPNs and just know that when you have to format the cover of Amazon, don't give up on yourself. It is a test to how much you care about your work. So just don't give up on yourself when it comes to like formatting the book cover on Amazon. But yeah, but do this. Go do that and then tell me, because I'll totally give that to people.
Yeah, I've also been like, I've been wanting to put them on my website too, just like kind of like self-publish and like people buy them and I send it to them directly. Do it, but I've been scared.
No, do it. Do it. You got to do it.
Yeah. But Kristen, this has been amazing. Is there any tips or tricks that you would love to have anyone give to anyone before we close?
Oh gosh, tips or tricks? I would have to say that is an on-the-spot question, and I should have prepared myself, and I didn't. So my tip and trick is to be light on your feet and dance all the time, everywhere, even when you can't answer a question. Just dance.
I mean, dancing is amazing, and I think that kind of flows with the somatic work because like even as you're
Yeah.
dancing, you're moving energy around.
Yes.
So you're dancing on your feet.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you.
Mm.
I hope we can like come talk to you again. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is so much fun, and I kind of want to make a trip to New Hampshire just to see you. 'Cause
Oh,
it just
that'd be great.
this sounds amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, do that. It's beautiful up here.
I've heard good things. I've driven past the state when I went to Maine. I've been to Maine. We went to Maine for our
Maine's
honeymoon,
gorgeous.
but
Mhm.
haven't actually gone to New Hampshire.
Yeah. Yep. Well, when you do, and if you want to know the right time, I'll tell you. But New Hampshire is a magical place.
I've heard good things. Last question. Where is the best place for people to find you?
I would say hop on my website, www.merkabishealing.com. You can join my newsletter, and I put musings, what I've been up to. You can find my blog there, and then all of my socials are also on my page. So if you have a specific social you like, you can go and check that out. I am mostly active as far as social goes. I'm mostly active on my YouTube and Instagram. I will be completely honest. I'm a terrible social person as far as like posting and whatnot. I'm trying to be better, but I am really just I keep all my social media on my work phone, and I keep my work phone in a very like strategic place. So it's not on my personal phone. So I'm really bad about being super active on social media. So my website is 100% the best way to reach me.
Great. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.